I welcome all of you to Eurasia Research Online Live International Conference. Today we have the participants from all these other participants, and we have participations from 7 countries around the world: Philippines, India, Kenya, Romania, China, UAE, and Pakistan. Personal development trainer, lifestyle consultant, motivational speaker, mentor, UAE. Our topic is the importance of trust in leadership.
It was Henry Cloud who mentioned that leadership is not taken, it is given. People give leadership to those that they trust. They allow people that they trust to have influence over their lives. In Harvard Business Review, that is the issue that is from February 2017, it was Dr. Paul Daszak, the founding director of the Center for Neuroeconomic Studies and professor of economics and psychology and management of Claremont Graduate University and the CEO of Immersion Neuroscience. He's also the author of Trust Factor, the science of creating high-performance companies. In fact, Professor Zak, in his article, The Neuroscience of Trust, talks about management behavior that fosters employee engagement. He conveys that building a culture of trust is what makes a meaningful impact. Now, how many of you believe that trust is playing a vital role in our personal and professional life? Can I see a show of hands, please? Thank you, Abhilasha. Thank you. In fact, what is interesting to know here is that employees in high trust organizations are seen to be more productive, have more energy at work. They are more keen on collaborating better with their colleagues, and they also stay with their employers longer than people working at low trust companies. They suffer less from chronic stress, which is not surprising as well. They are happy with their lives, and these factors fuel stronger performance. Dr. Zak found that through research that compared with people at low trust companies, people at high trust companies report 74% less stress, 106% more energy at work, 50% higher productivity, 13% fewer sick days, 76% more engagement, and interestingly, 29% more satisfaction with their lives, 40% less burnout as well. So he identified a few key management behaviors that foster trust, that are measurable, and can be managed to improve overall performance. Now let's know a little bit about what are some of the key ingredients that promotes trust when it comes to leadership in organization. The first one is recognizing excellence. Each one of us, we would love to get recognition for what we are doing in an exemplary manner. So recognizing excellence comes through recognition that is seen to have the largest effect on trust when it occurs immediately after a goal has been met. Recognition not only celebrates successes, but also inspires others to aim for excellence so that others can learn from them. Now, as professors and teachers who are here today with us, I would love to have one of our educators share a little bit about how you may have recognized excellence in your students. Any one of you, we would love to hear from you. Dr. Victoria, would you like to share with us what are some of your key practices?
Uh, I I see to it that I set as an example. This is the reason why I always go for this kind of platform. I registered. I always go for the research congress for them to be uh, for uh, for them to be exposed, being my example. That's what I use uh, for them to be motivated, especially my subject is about research. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Victoria. I think when it comes to any field, whether it is the field of education or even the corporate field, we are all conscious about recognizing excellence because it's a great way to motivate people into becoming better and also making greater progress. The second tip that he has shared is to induce challenge stress. Now, what is challenge stress? Challenge stress is when the team is given a task which is, of course, challenging, yet which is achievable. They are able to collaborate better, will have greater clarity in how to achieve, that task with the team effort. However, sometimes what happens in organizations is that the challenge is such which may not be very understood by the team, and hence the stress level is greater than what is practical and what is needed for the completion of the goal. So, by inducing a moderate stress to help a team to achieve the target better, the need for achievability also fosters trust. However, leaders should check frequently to assess progress and to also make adjustments so that the goal can be met with greater collaboration and, of course, with a healthy level of stress. The third one is sharing information broadly. Now, what do you mean sharing information? When we talk about sharing information in an organization, many companies may not feel very happy or very comfortable about sharing information about themselves. But by keeping employees well informed about their company's goals, strategies, and tactics, companies can reduce the uncertainty that employees experience and which inhibits teamwork. So I think this is also enabling us to be more transparent, not just in our personal relationships, but also in the manner we look at our professional life and organizational relationships as well. The fourth one is to help build relationships. Yes, you heard it right. Organizations that do not just focus on the professional impact of employees, but also focus on their overall wellness, definitely is making sure that employees feel they are trusted and they are valued better. So Dr. Zach found that through his neuroscience experiments, that when people build social ties at work, their performance improves. Leaders and organizations can help build social connections by sponsoring lunches, after work parties, and also team building activities, which can also help people feel closer to each other and help improve their collaboration too as a team. The fifth one is to facilitate a whole person growth. Now, what is whole person growth here? When we talk about whole person growth, the first thought that comes is, why should it matter? I think a lot of you here who is part of this webinar, most of you are educators. Am I right, Abhilasha? I think most of our
Yes, ma'am.
attendees and our speakers are from the field of education. So I would like to ask one of you to share with me on how do you help a student not just become good in your subject, but grow as a person. One of you, we would love to know a little more. How about Mara?
In general, I try to give them like more tips and tricks on where they can find, I don't know, more information sources, or again, tips and tricks on how to learn better, what to read, what to trust, what to not trust. I mean, I think this is sometimes more helpful than the information itself we teach them in our classes. So in general, I try to give them this kind of tips and tricks on where is better to get information from, what sources you should trust, and what sources you shouldn't trust, and so on and so forth.
Thank you very much, Mara. But what is the age group of your students?
Their bachelor's degree in general.
Okay. So how exactly
Like,
do you, I'm sorry, you were saying something.
I was saying that they're in general like second year bachelor and also third year bachelor. I
Oh.
don't have for them, like I don't have first year bachelors yet.
Okay. But on a one-to-one personal interaction, how have you is there any incident that comes to your mind where you have been able to successfully help them grow at a personal level as well, and not just as a student?
So at a personal level, but it wasn't like a one-to-one meeting, but I can tell you something. In general, I teach marketing related disciplines.
Okay.
But every time like we start a seminar, I also start like with like at the beginning of the year or something like this. I'm just like, okay, I know I'm here to teach you marketing. I know I'm here to teach you how to do more sales and everything. But I usually start with the bad part of selling too much, of consuming too much, of buying not necessary products. I teach them about how not to trust everything they see on ads, everything they see on social media. And I think this is also useful for them. Absolutely. Because like I said, they as marketing students, they have to know like how to do good marketing campaigns, how to sell things. But it's also important to be aware of the negative impact of too much marketing campaigns, too many ads seen, how intrusive they are sometimes, how can promote sometimes like not realistic things. And yeah, so I think it's also useful for them as people, not for them as students, just to know how to act like in their day-by-day life.
Thank you very much. I think that's so true. And being true and being transparent goes together. And I think that forms trust to a great degree as well. So thank you very much for sharing, Professor Mara. I really appreciate that. So when we talk about facilitating a whole person growth, we talk about making sure that the higher trust in workplaces or even in educational fields help students or people develop personally as well as professionally, because they adopt a growth mindset when developing a talent, that is the organization or the educator, and at the same time by assessing personal and professional growth. It includes having discussions about work-life balance, integrating family life as well, and also time for reflections, because reflections are also very important for our growth. We need to know and be conscious about what have we done right, what could have been better. And one more tip that I'd like to mention here, which Dr. Zach had mentioned, was to show vulnerability without fear. Now, for a lot of leaders, it's only their strengths that they feel confident about. They do not feel very comfortable about others knowing their areas that need improvement, which I personally think may not be the most ideal approach to have, because none of us are perfect. And the more we acknowledge that, the more we are willing to share what we don't know. So instead of just telling your team or even your students what to do, I think what is important is teachers are also comfortable, or even leaders are comfortable about telling their student or even their team that, I'm sorry, I don't know. Can you tell me? Because the moment when you're willing to ask for help, ask for information that we may not know, it helps and taps into the human impulse to cooperate with others better. We are talking about those we are asking help from or asking information from. So I think all in all, what I would ideally say is the importance of trust in leaders and leadership can never be underrated. It is a very, very essential key area that leaders need to recognize, appreciate, acknowledge, and most of all, respect with humility.